Prizepicks is absolutely scamming you guys with this promo. Let's take a look at why. I built a slip up here, two random players, Damian Lillard and Martin Jones, and I threw in one of these Demons prop here, Devin Singletary on the over rush plus receiving touchdowns. Right away, you see I'm only being paid 6x for 3 correct, right? You know what else is also 6x for 3 correct? Underdog's default payouts. Now, you even saw in the intro right here, the squares marked with a red demon are harder to win, but qualify the entry for higher payouts. That is not a higher payout. I guess in terms of price pick standards, normally they do pay 5x. But on Underdog, I'm building an exact same slip with Lillard, Martin Jones, and I could grab literally any player that is not harder to hit, just a classic player from the board, and I'm still getting that 6x payout. So that's red flag number 1 with these demon props. Now we could also build this exact same slip on Bet365 or any other sportsbook. You can see I have the exact same slip built right here. Lillard over points, Jones over saves, and then Devin Singletary once again on any time touchdown score, which is essentially equal to rush plus receiving touchdowns. This is paying me $100 into 709. So I'm profiting $609. On price picks, I'm only profiting $500, right? It says to win 600. It's actually not to profit 600. You just get 600 back, meaning you profit 500. So on price picks, I'm only profiting 500, yet Bet365 is willing to pay me all the way up to $600 of profit. And Underdog is willing to pay me 100 into 600 without even getting a harder prop. Again, squares marked with a red demon are harder to win. Prizepicks literally says this. Now there's also the Goblins, which are easier to win and give lower payouts. We're going to get into that in a second. Now we're going to even take a look at other slips. This is just one example, but I'm going to get into more right here with a full demon stack. I've been seeing a lot of these on Twitter, Reddit, wherever it is. These are absolutely terrible. I'm telling you guys, they are robbing you blind and not enough people know this. So this is what they want you to go for. The 100x perfect power play on 4 players, all going over either the passing yards, receiving yards, whatever you guys want to play, rushing touchdowns. We have all these guys with alternative props. People are going to be thinking, oh, it's playoffs. Yes, 300 yards, easy for Goff, easy for Mahomes. These are all easy props, right? We're getting $100 into 10K. Now for this one, brace yourself because this is even worse than the entry I just showed you. Remember, 100 into 10K on these 4 players. On Bet365, you can check any other sportsbook too. They have these alternative lines. So Jared Goff to record 300 or more passing yards are the milestone props. So we have Goff, Mahomes, Rudolph, and Love. It's the exact same entry that I just made on PrizePicks. This is paying you 100 to return $26,000. Imagine you actually hit this on PrizePicks. You could have literally got $16,000 more. That's double what you're getting here, first of all. Here you're only getting 10,000. It's more than double, right? It's 2.6 times what you would get on PrizePicks. Imagine you hit this and you're missing out on another $16,000 because you didn't play it on a sportsbook. And I know a lot of you don't have access to sportsbooks because you're in Cali or wherever you might be. But if you are, just avoid these completely because you're getting absolutely ripped off. And I'm going to get into some math right now. It's not too complicated, but you can see this number right here, plus 26,000. Now this number doesn't just mean anything. It means a certain probability. And you could transfer this number from 26,000 into basically an implied probability of 0.38%. What that means simply is that these 4 props to hit all together, all of them to hit perfectly in a 4-man parlay, has a 0.38% chance of hitting. And you could calculate what your expected value or your profit is on every single slip you're putting very simply, right? You have a 0.38% chance that you profit $9,900 because your $100 is part of this 10,000. So 0.38% chance that you profit. That leaves a 99.62% chance that you lose your $100. Obviously, I know a lot of you are not putting $100 on these slips, but it keeps it simple just for the math. And in this case, you could do an expected value calculation, right? It's just this number times this number times this number. And when you sum them up, you get this number at minus 62, which essentially means for every $100 you're playing on these 4-man devil picks, you're losing $62. That's a 62% edge to PrizePicks. So per $100 you bet on a demon slip, you can expect to lose $62. Now this is absolutely terrible, guys. There's like literally nothing worse than this in all of betting. I could show you some expected value house edges of casino games. Roulette, very popular, right? Double zero, minus 5.26%. Single zero is minus 2.7%. And then blackjack, we all know, is pretty much the lowest edge in casino at negative 0.5%. So every $100 you bet, you can expect to get $99.50 back. Even the worst ones, craps tie here, minus 14.35%. We're losing 62%, guys. PrizePicks is absolutely scamming you guys. So when I get this out for you before the playoffs and to help you guys avoid these props. Now you're probably thinking, what about the Goblins? You only went over the Demons. Yes, the Goblins are also terrible. Look at this. A 4-man with all these Goblin props, all in receiving yards, is paying you 2.5x. That's $100 into 250 or $150 profit. Just look at this exact same entry on Bet365 in a 4-man parlay Rice, Ferguson, Evans, and Schultz, all over their respective Goblin lines on Bet365. And look what we're getting, 100 into 311. So we're getting an extra $60 on this price picks. And guys, you also have to consider, if you're doing a simple 2-man, you're getting a 3x payout. Here you're getting a 2.5x payout. Yes, you're guessing easier lines, but you're still getting 4 guys right. And it's still as hard to do that than just predicting a simple 2-man from the straight board. Now, the one thing we didn't consider is correlation, right? Everyone knows there's correlation in NFL. It's not a secret. You could grab a QB with a receiver. Now, does this get any better for us? I got 2 random props from tonight's games. Brook Lopez over points, Shea over points. Then Baker Mayfield over passing yards with Mike Evans over 100 receiving yards. Obviously, if Baker Mayfield's throwing over his passing yards prop, it's more likely that Mike Evans could get potentially 100 receiving yards. This is paying out a 12x or 100 into 1.2k. Look at this on Bet365. Same thing, Brook Lopez, Shea, and then we got the stack here. Baker Mayfield over passing yards with Mike Evans, 100 receiving yards. This is paying plus 1613, which is equivalent to 100 into 1.7k. That's an extra $500 you're missing out by not playing this on a sportsbook. So in general, I would completely avoid playing these Demons and Goblins throughout the whole NFL playoffs. I know they're going to keep spamming them throughout the playoffs. Avoid them, or else you're going to keep seeing your bankroll go down and down and down. And honestly, if you want a 6x on a 3-man, just go play on Underdog. I do have a link that will deposit match 100% of your initial deposit in the description. Just one more point to drill the point home on these Goblins. So Goblins are squares marked with green that are easier to win, but the result is a lower payout. Now, if they're easier to win, I'm assuming they should be at least better than what's traditionally on the board. So kind of like a taco or a discounted prop. But if we actually look into it a bit deeper, I have this slip here with Jalen Hurts and Kyren Williams on the over rush receiving touchdowns. Now, both of these guys together pays you 2.5x. So that's kind of close to that 3x for a traditional payout. But I'll show you 2 props that are actually better than this and are on the standard board and will still give you the 3x payout. So first of all, let's just see how much we're getting ripped once again. So 100 into $250. Same exact slip on Bet365 is 100 into $310. But now we could actually find players that are on the traditional board. So this is the normal board. I got Josh Giddey under PRA and Tim Hardaway under PRA. These are not Goblin props. They are not Demon props. But here I'm getting the traditional 3x payout. These props are actually better than what we see on Jalen Hurts and Kyren Williams. So on Kyren Williams, you can see there is juice towards that over. Basically, the higher the minus, the more likely it is to occur. So Kyren Williams is at minus 138. Jalen Hurts is at minus 125. These 2 props, Josh Giddey and Tim Hardaway, are better than that. So for Josh Giddey to start, his under PRA is minus 153 on Pinnacle, who is sort of known to be the sharpest sportsbook, have the most accurate lines. That's for Josh Giddey alone. Now for Tim Hardaway, he's at minus 150. So both of these props on an individual basis are both better than Jalen Hurts and Williams on these touchdown scores. Yet Prizepicks is making it seem like these are better props because they have Goblins attached to them, which is actually just not true. I would expect these to be as good as tacos or discounts, like I said earlier. So just another additional proof to absolutely stay away from these during the playoffs. Make sure you're not putting these in your slips. And I guess you could try to have fun with it, but I'm telling you, it's not going to be fun when you're going through your bankroll over the playoffs. Don't you still want to have some bankroll for the Super Bowl finals? I think you do. So stay away from these guys.